Namaste, viewers. I'm Vibhuti Jha, and this is Jaipur Dialogue USA, coming back to you after a week-long absence in which I had gone to Jaipur for attending the annual event, which was called Reclaim Bharat. It was a remarkably successful event, and I got to chance to participate in several events and meet with many supporters who traveled from America, Europe, and all over India. That was very heartening for us because that's the one which encourages us for what we do. But more about that later. But today I wanted to talk to you about something which Mr. Trump has done, which is showing his true leadership class. He dared to do something which no other leader has done. And yesterday, in American time wise, he issued a statement on Twitter and his social media platform called Truth Social. And it was very powerful because it was unequivocal, honest, and very upfront. No mixing of messaging, and absolutely telling the truth, something no other global leader has done. You may have seen it, and that message it needs to be known to every single Indian in America who is trying to vote for Democratic Party because Hamari reason for there is a Kamala name out there versus Donald Trump, who is a friend of India, who is a friend of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he is totally open about it. So look at his message, and it's very important, particularly these days when the words matter. Words matter, words change minds, and minds move mountains. That's what I always say. So look at what he said. He strongly condemned the barbaric violence against Hindus in Bangladesh. That's what is important. Barbaric violence against Hindus in Bangladesh. You know it, that it is accused that the Bangladesh overthrowing of Hasina regime was a mastermind, manipulated from foreign soil. The Nobel Peace Prize winner is an installed caretaker prime minister. The entire government is caretaker. And we all know the extent of violence that has gone on in Bangladesh against Hindus, against Hindu temples. And that is a story that is not going down very well in the international field, particularly when everybody is rising and shouting for Hamas. You look at it this way, they have time to shout and support Hamas, not even Palestine, but Hamas. But they have no time to comment upon Hindu atrocities that are happening in Bangladesh. This is the first global leader who has dared to say that in unequivocal terms. What does he say next? He also says that he is attacking Christians, Hindus, and other minorities who are getting attacked and looted by mobs in Bangladesh, remains in a state of total chaos. So the Bangladesh government, when it threatens India to return Hasina, Sheikh Hasina, the former prime minister, one of the ministers, caretaker ministers, said that India will have to bear the consequences of that. To which I had replied to him, saying that first become a legitimate government before you threaten countries like India, who are authentic, largest democracy in the world. Now, Trump also says, and he has been very vocal about it, that many international disturbances that are happening, they would not have happened under his watch. And he says this particular thing would not have happened in Bangladesh if he were the president. Now, what does it mean? It also means the weakness of Harris-Biden administration in not taking care of this, in addition to the fact that the demands made on Sheikh Hasina were probably unreasonable. This is again a very strong reversal of the entire State Department and US government policy. Now, he also says that Kamala and Joe have ignored Hindus across the world and in America. That's very critical because every single thing against Hindus, India, and Hindu related is always happening in a Democrat run state. This is very important for every Indian voter who is going to vote in this election in the next few days. To bear in mind that the Democratic Party has been home to all anti India, anti Hindu steps, resolutions, and laws trying to be made. I have done a program a few days ago in which I said how we achieved significant success, how we achieved significant success in thwarting those people in, in a public platform, whether it was dismantling Hindutva agenda, whether it was declaring what you call the swastik as a hate symbol, whether it was caste battle of SB 403, we defeated most of them, five of them in all. Watch that show. Watch that show which I did a few days ago. Now, this is also very important. He also says, we also will protect Hindu Americans against the anti religion agenda of the radical left. This is going global. This is remarkably important because the people who are against Hindus are the leftist, Marxists, socialists, Islamists, and now the Khalistanis as well, who are attacking everything Hindu in a most illegitimate way across the border in Canada, also in America. You have known that. Many Indians who have nothing to do with any of these have been listed as persons of interest by these quasi NGOs who are operating on a given agenda. Now, what I want to say is, he also said that we will protect Hindu Americans against anti-religion agenda. We will also fight for your freedom. Under my administration, we will also strengthen our great partnership with India and my good friend Prime Minister Modi. The rumor mill has it here that it is very likely that Mr. Trump, because of certain Pakistani and Muslim groups supporting him, may be able to influence Modi about the Muslim agenda. But that's not happening. Everybody knows Mr. Trump's agenda. It is anti-terror, it is anti-communist, it is pro-capitalist, it is pro-freedom, and therefore he is not going to relent on any of those things, regardless of whatever groups are going to exercise pressure on him or bargaining for the votes because of this reason. He's not going to relent on that. Yeah, some people were saying tariff will be a problem, but I have always maintained, and I said this to you before, the tariff is a negotiation tool in any international trade and payment relations. It is always the case. Tariff is done for two reasons. For the importing items, it becomes expensive, and it is also intended to protect domestic manufacturers and domestic businesses. That's why if people in the local markets are willing to pay the higher price, so be it, then pay the tariff, pay the taxes, which is where the government earns its own revenue. So there will be a matter of negotiation, and I'm 100% sure that between Modi's Make in India program and Trump's Make America Great Again, there is a lot of commonality of purpose, demand and supply, and need-based arrangement. That's what is going to happen. How will you determine the advantage in production, manufacturing, and the market? These three things are important: production, market, and management of the whole thing. This is critical for every sane person to understand that tariff is not against India. Think about it. When Mr. Trump was in power, he imposed tariff on Chinese goods. Those tariffs have not been removed, although Biden had criticized him heavily that because if tariff is imposed, there will be problem for domestic market. Nothing happened. On the contrary, America is earning remarkable surplus because of the tariffs imposed on Chinese goods, and those are still there. If Biden was interested in removing those, he could have easily done it, just as he could have easily said that the Afghan withdrawal is not, it was not in the interest of American interests, so we are going to not follow that, and he would have negotiated his own. But in Afghanistan, he accepted because he wanted to send the troops money and everything else to Ukraine. So you accept Trump's proposal there. In China, you are arguing against the tariff, but you retain the tariff. You see the politics of it? Though also, it's very important to bear in mind that he also said that Kamala Harris will destroy your small businesses because of the fact there will be more regulation and higher taxes. That is true. Why? Because they are driven by that. Kamala Harris' agenda is that. She is demanding so much free money to do her free agendas that he is promising the people. Where is that going to come from? It will be through higher taxes on people, the unsuspecting people. And the Democratic Party has no strategy or economic plan. They only have agenda. And that's what people have to understand very clearly. So this is what is important. He also wished Happy Diwali, the victory of good over evil. Compare that. Has Kamala Harris ever made a statement condemning the attacks on Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh? Never. She made a public hoo-ha about a Diwali celebration, and she danced around and lit some firecrackers. Just a show off. Just a show off of her seeming support to Indians, whereas she means none of it. I want to say something very important here. Just today it has happened. President Trump, former President Trump, made a statement about Kamala Harris and this Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is a war hawk. You know that. Even Tulsi Gabbard in her book has described so very well. As a soldier, she says, machine in America is the biggest mover of all war interests around the world. So she said Liz Cheney is a war hawk, and she would not know what it is to send poor soldiers and young men and women to war unless she stands next to a gun and faces the gun at her face. The entire left media said, "Oh my God, Trump is saying that Liz Cheney should be shot dead." This is where the media plays a role. So, ladies and gentlemen, few days are left. You are in India or in America. Watch this development happening in America. It's critical for every Indian American who is in this country and going to vote to be aware of the false narrative committed by the Democratic Party and their spin machine in the mainstream media. Look at it this way. I compliment Jake Tapper, who is a complete left guy in CNN, who also decried Kamala Harris for misrepresenting and mistelling of Trump statements. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad I'm back. From tomorrow onwards, I'm going to do two more shows every day until the election, including my short takes that I do with you. And we are getting some good, 6 good guests who will be there tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday until people go for vote. So you will be hearing a lot more honest, upright, straight up conversations on Jaipur Dialogue USA tomorrow onwards. Thank you very much for watching. As I always say, Satyamev Jayate, for truth to triumph, you and I have to stand up and be counted. Thank you very much.